Exam practice questions with explanations. Political law. Question: what is the separation of powers and why is it important in the Philippines? Explanation: the separation of powers divides the government into three parts. The legislature makes laws, the executive enforces them, and the judiciary interprets them. This setup helps prevent power abuse and protects citizens' rights by ensuring each branch checks the others. Question: what is the doctrine of hierarchy of courts in the Philippines? Explanation: this doctrine says that legal cases should start in lower courts and only move to higher courts if needed. This helps keep the Supreme Court from getting overloaded and maintains an organized legal process. Civil Law 3. Question: what are the key elements of a legally binding contract in the Philippines? A valid contract needs agreement, a legal purpose, and something of value exchanged. Both parties must agree willingly. The contract's purpose must be legal, and the value exchanged must be acceptable and lawful. 4. Question: what's the difference between void and voidable contracts? Explanation: a void contract is invalid from the beginning because it's illegal or impossible. A voidable contract seems valid but can be canceled if there was a major mistake, deceit, or pressure during its creation. Criminal Law 5. Question: what needs to be proven for self-defense in the Philippines? Explanation: self-defense must show there was an attack, the response was necessary and reasonable, and the person defending didn't start the trouble. All these conditions must be met. 6. How are accomplices different from accessories in criminal law? Explanation: an accomplice helps commit a crime, though not as the main actor. An accessory helps after the crime, such as hiding evidence or helping the main perpetrator escape. Commercial Law 7. Question: what does piercing the corporate veil mean in Philippine law? Explanation: this is when courts ignore a company's separate legal status to prevent fraud or unfairness, such as when a company is misused to hide wrongdoing. 8. Question: what are the main duties of a corporation's board of directors? The board must act loyally, carefully, and in good faith to make the best decisions for the company, avoiding any personal gain from their decisions. Labor Law 9. Question: what is considered illegal dismissal in the Philippines? Explanation: firing an employee without a valid reason or without following the correct legal process is illegal dismissal. Valid reasons can be bad behavior or economic needs like layoffs. 10. What is the fourfold test for employer-employee relationships? Explanation: this test looks at who hires and pays the worker, who can fire them, and who controls how the worker does their job. The control aspect is especially important. Taxation Law 11. Question: what's the difference between a tax and a fee? Explanation: a tax is collected to fund general public services, whereas a fee is charged for specific government services directly benefiting the payer. 12. Is double taxation allowed in the Philippines? Explanation: double taxation happens when someone is taxed twice for the same thing by the same authority. It's generally frowned upon, but not strictly illegal. Remedial Law 13. Question: what makes a search warrant valid? A valid search warrant is issued by a judge based on strong evidence, properly detailing the places and items to be searched. 14. What is the best evidence rule? This rule means that the original document must be shown in court when its contents are questioned. There are exceptions, like if the document is lost or destroyed. Ethics and Legal Profession 15. Question: what are a lawyer's duties to the court? Explanation: lawyers must respect the court, be truthful, and avoid delaying tactics. They must behave professionally at all times. 6th question: what is attorney-client privilege? This protects the privacy of discussions between a lawyer and their client, unless the discussions involve planning a crime or fraud. International Law 17. Question: what does state sovereignty mean in international law? Explanation: it means countries control their own affairs without outside interference. International courts need a country's permission to hear cases involving them. Question: what does pacta sunt servanda mean? Explanation: it's a principle meaning countries must stick to their treaty commitments. It's crucial for maintaining trust and order in international relations. Special laws. Question. What are the main points of the Data Privacy Act of 2012? Explanation. This law protects personal data, requires people's consent to process their data, and sets up the National Privacy Commission to oversee these rules. 20. What are the penalties for violating the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act? Explanation. Violators can face jail time, fines, and mandatory counseling, with penalties varying based on the abuse type, like physical or psychological.
Bar exam questions with simple explanations, questions, and answers. 1. Define abuse of power in the context of public administration. Provide examples of how this could occur in Philippine governance. Answer. Abuse of power occurs when a government official uses their authority inappropriately for personal gain or to harm others. Explanation. Examples include favoritism in awarding contracts, illegal detainment of critics, or using public funds for personal expenses. 2. What laws in the Philippines penalize the misuse of public funds by government officials? Identify at least 2 laws and their key provisions. Answer. The Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, RA 39, and the Plunder Law, RA 7080. Explanation. These laws punish officials who misuse public funds through imprisonment, fines, and forfeiture of ill-gotten wealth. Number 3. What is the principle of accountability of public officers under the Philippine Constitution? How does it relate to the misuse of tax funds? Answer. Public officials must act in the public's best interest and can be held responsible for fund misuse. Explanation. This principle ensures officials manage taxes responsibly as required by Article 10 of the Constitution. 4. Discuss the role of the Commission on Audit in ensuring the proper use of public funds in the Philippines. Answer. COA audits government agencies to ensure funds are used legally and efficiently. Explanation. COA reviews budgets and expenditures, preventing misappropriation or illegal spending. 5. What are the constitutional or statutory requirements for transparency in public fund usage in the Philippines? Answer. Article 2, Section 28 of the Constitution mandates transparency in government transactions. Explanation. Laws like the Freedom of Information, FOI, order allow citizens to access data on fund usage. 6. Describe the legal consequences for a public official found guilty of plunder under Republic Act No. 7080, Plunder Law. Answer. Penalties include life imprisonment and forfeiture of ill-gotten wealth. Explanation. Plunder applies to officials who amass ill-gotten wealth worth at least $50 million. 7. Differentiate between graft and corruption. Provide examples of each within the context of public service in the Philippines. Answer. Graft involves illegal wealth gain, while corruption is broader and includes neglect of duties. Explanation. For example, graft is taking bribes, while corruption could also mean refusing service for personal bias. 8. Explain the concept of conflict of interest and how it may lead to misuse of tax funds by public officials. Answer. Conflict of interest occurs when officials use their position for personal or family benefit. Explanation. An example is awarding government contracts to their own businesses. 9. What mechanisms exist for citizens to report suspected misuse of public funds by government officials in the Philippines? Answer. Citizens can report to the Ombudsman, COA, or anti-corruption hotlines. Explanation. These institutions investigate complaints and can initiate legal proceedings. 10. Describe the Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth, SALN, and its role in preventing abuse of power. Answer. SALN is a public document showing an official's finances. Explanation. It helps track unexplained wealth, promoting transparency and accountability. 11. What is the significance of the Sandigan Bayan in prosecuting public officials accused of corruption? Answer. The Sandigan Bayan is a special court for corruption cases involving government officials. Explanation. It ensures quick and focused resolution of graft and corruption cases. 12. Discuss the impact of the misuse of tax funds on public trust and government efficiency. Answer. Misusing funds reduces trust and hinders public services. Explanation. It discourages taxpayers, delays projects, and causes public dissatisfaction. 13. How does the Anti-Red Tape Act, Republic Act No. 9485, help curb abuse of power and misuse of funds? Answer. It simplifies government processes and reduces corruption opportunities. Explanation. By setting clear rules and timelines, it minimizes officials' chances to demand bribes. 14. What international treaties or agreements has the Philippines signed to combat corruption and promote transparency? Answer: the Philippines is part of the United Nations Convention Against Corruption, UNCAC. Explanation: UNCAC helps countries share strategies and resources to fight corruption. 15. Explain the concept of social accountability and its importance in monitoring the use of public funds. Answer: social accountability means citizens actively monitor government actions. Explanation: it strengthens transparency by allowing public participation and oversight. 16. Analyze the Supreme Court decision in Belgica Vochoa pork barrel case and its implications for transparency and fund usage. Answer: the decision declared the pork barrel system unconstitutional. Explanation: it stopped lump sum allocations, ensuring funds are allocated transparently. 17. What is the Freedom of Information (FOI) order, and how does it enhance public oversight of tax fund usage? Answer: FOI allows citizens to access government documents. Explanation: it enables public review of government spending, preventing fund misuse. 18. Define the term ghost projects in the context of Philippine public fund misuse and its legal consequences. Answer: ghost projects are fake initiatives where funds are stolen. Explanation: officials involved face charges for plunder, graft, or corruption. 19. What are the procedural safeguards in the procurement process under Republic Act No. 91A4 Government Procurement Reform Act to prevent fund misuse? Answer: the law mandates competitive bidding and transparency. Explanation: it prevents favoritism and ensures public funds are spent efficiently. 20. In cases where a whistleblower exposes fund misuse, what legal protections are afforded to them under Philippine law? Answer: whistleblowers are protected by RA 6713 and related laws. Explanation: they are safeguarded from retaliation, ensuring they can report without fear.